Welcome to the Dawgs Table. Hosted by Craig Fountain and Jared Fatty Bates. Get access to special guests. Anyone can join the Dawgs Table. Find the link to join the show in the comments when we go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Periscope, and everywhere on the BIGPLAY network. Here's your hosts, Craig Fountain and Jared Fatty Bates.
It'd help if you added us into the screen, Craig. Jeez, what's going on? We are live here on a 2/22/22 Dawgs Table edition. I am that fat guy. He is Craig Fountain. What's going on, bud?
Not much. I thought you were playing producer today.
I'm done playing producer, bud. I'm done producing tree work. Nope, I'm done. I'm playing free agency over here.
We have an awesome show today. And if this is your first time tuning in, the Dawgs Table is a Cleveland Browns roundtable discussion show. And we're going to post a link in the comments at some point. And you guys are more than welcome to click the link and join the show. You can video chat with us or audio chat with us by clicking the link. Mm-hmm. And Chris, we can engage with your tweets, or I'm sorry, your comments like this. So comment wherever you're at. And we can interact with your comments, answer your questions. Chris, that is one of our topics today. We are going to go in depth into the Jarvis stuff, and we're going to talk about that. But we're brought to you by Labatt Blue and Remax Edge Realty, the JC Group. And Fatty doesn't know left from right, but he's fun to hang around. So
the camera gets up. Look at it.
And we are on Team BIGPLAY. So you can find us everywhere BIGPLAY is found. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this stuff today. Where do you want to start this week? You want to start with the Twitter poll, or do you want to wait for the Twitter poll?
Let's go ahead and do the Twitter poll because we'll get the free agency after it. But I mean, I want to save the Jarvis stuff for a little bit later.
Okay.
So that everybody can kind of get into it. But let's get the Twitter poll out of the way first.
All right. So this week's Twitter poll, and we do a poll on Twitter every week. So make sure you check us out on Twitter. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, sorry, but they don't let us post polls on Facebook or YouTube. So Twitter it is. Anyways, here we go. Twitter poll of the week. All right. So this week's Twitter poll is free agency. We are looking forward to free agency. It comes before the draft. We're almost there. And this is going to dominate most of the discussion. So we started out last week. We talked about, are the Browns going to be aggressive in free agency, or are they going to be, not so aggressive? This week, it's what position will we focus on the most? And the options are wide receiver, linebacker, defensive line, or other. Fatty, how did you vote in this poll? What position will the Browns focus on the most in NFL free agency?
I have a feeling that it's going to be a sprinkle of both. I think it's going to be defensive line. and I also think it's going to be wide receiver. I think it's going to be both of them. They're
All
going
right.
to at least dunk their toe in both of those.
Okay. Are they going to make a splash in either one?
I don't know if it's a splash. I don't think it's a big fish, but I think it's something that's going to fit their team needs because obviously the Browns front office has proven that to us that I think it's going to be somebody that's going to fit in. I think it's going to be somebody younger. And if it is somebody older, I think it's going to be a piece that they need, especially defensive tackle now that we have Jenkins and the other guy that got arrested, Malik McDowell. Clowney's still a free agent. Wide receiver wise, we have the stuff with Jarvis. We could definitely use an upgrade at wide receiver. But I mean, how do you feel, Bud? Because I think they could do kind of both with one stone.
Yeah, and Joe, I see your question here. We'll get back to Fatty here in a second, and Chris. I'm leaning towards wide receiver mostly. I think it's the biggest hole that we're going to have to fill, and Barry doesn't want to be backed into a corner. I've said it before on the show. He does not want to have to force a draft pick based on need. Will we probably still go wide receiver in the first round? Yes. After free agency, if we don't touch wide receiver or at least get some depth there, will that first round pick be sufficient? Absolutely not. We need more than just Burks or London or one of the OSU bros in there. And, he's just not going to go into the draft, I think, with his hands tied behind his back. We certainly need to address the defensive line. And I think linebacker we're going to be pretty thin at. But wide receiver to me is going to be the primary focus. Do you guys think Johnson or Hunt will be a Brown next year? Yes. I don't understand the Kareem Hunt talk. Why I understand what people are saying as far as why they're suggesting maybe we move on from Hunt. I just can't bring myself to even come within the ballpark of agreeing with it. And as far as John Johnson, he had a very disappointing season.
Hey, is he asking Dearness Johnson?
Oh, Dearness Johnson. You're right. I was thinking John Johnson. Dearness Johnson.
John Johnson's already signed through for a while.
Listen, I don't think Dearness Johnson is going to be a Brown next year, but that's just me. So that's not going to be something that we're going to address in free agency either. I kind of have a hot take where I think we're going to go running back fairly early in the draft, earlier than people would think, because Dearness Johnson won't be here. Fatty, Joe Starkey, long time no see, Joe. I'm so glad you're watching, Joe. Fatty, who's your top wide receiver you want to get in free agency? Do you have one in mind?
There's two. I would like to go younger to be part of this team. So if you're going to sign a free agent wide receiver, I mean, the youngest one on the board is either, let's see here, Juju's 25 or Chris Godwin. And I'd love to have Chris Godwin. Juju, But the one that everybody keeps talking about is Mike Williams. And I like that. I really do. You also got to kind of factor in a little bit of Will Fuller. Little speed guy, can stretch the field. He's not a splashy name, but those are my three guys that I'd like to see. What about you, bud?
I'm distracted here by Justin. We're going to post a link in the comments here very soon. Justin, I'm hoping you can explain this to me. You could see Hunt leaving and Johnson staying. Joe, we wish you could join too. Let us know if you want the link, and we'll get you in here. Dearness is a value to the team. No doubt is he a value. But listen, we have Chubb and Hunt under extensions. All right. They're not in contract years. I'd rather get something for Dearness than just let him walk without getting anything. Plus, I think he could compete for a starting role, especially in two-headed backfields somewhere in this league, and I think he deserves that. I think we're going to be looking for the next successor to both the Hunt and Chubb tandem coming up in the draft. So, all right. Pickett is not in the... I don't think Browns are going QB in the draft. Back to wide receivers. Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, Norman, I got to tell you, he scares me to death. He gives me Kenny Britt, Dwayne Bowe vibes. Unbelievable player. Unbelievable player. Dearness, I believe, is a I'm going to look this up. I thought he was a restricted free agent this year. But I want Mike Williams. Took me a while to get to the answer to the question. Hunt is still under contract. Yes. All right. So you're talking about Hunt. Hunt's still under contract. So is Chubb. Trade, restricted FA. That's what I thought. Got lots of comments going. You guys are awesome tonight.
Looks like we might need to open up comments before open up the show before we wanted to.
Right. So listen, Mike Williams is my guy. We'll get into the Jarvis stuff later, but Mike Williams is probably the second best wide receiver in this free agency class, I guess you could call it, this group of free agent wide receivers. I think Chris Godwin slots in ahead of Mike Williams. Allen Robinson, I think, falls behind a little bit. Chris Godwin, guys, listen, Chris Godwin would be awesome. All right.
Here's one name we haven't brought up. What about DJ Shark?
DJ Chark has potential. I like DJ Chark at a value. I would like to see him on a prove it deal.
I mean, he's only 25.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's talented, and he had an outstanding season 2 years ago for the Jaguars, and this past year was kind of But
he had Sunshine as his quarterback. What do you want from him?
But listen, Chris Godwin, if you're looking at 17, 18, $19 million a year, do we want to do that again?
For one wide receiver? Yes. Right. Multiple? No. At that point in time, Jarvis has to hit the door. If you're bringing in Godwin's going to be your number one, no matter what happens. No matter what happens.
Allen Robinson would probably be easier to sign, and he's been good with bad or inconsistent QB play. You're absolutely right. The injuries are certainly a concern. I'm a little worried about him kind of mirroring like the Alshon Jeffrey type move. You know, Alshon Jeffrey was, I feel like, Allen Robinson a couple years ago, and then he moved to Philadelphia. Does Jarvis restructure? Listen, all right. Should we just go ahead and get into the Jarvis stuff?
We have to finish the Twitter poll.
We have to finish the Twitter poll. All right, we're going to get into the Jarvis stuff. Let's go ahead and do the results of the Twitter poll, and then we will get into the meat and potatoes of the show today, and then we'll get back to free agency. All right, so the results of the Twitter poll, here we go. 43% of voters chose wide receiver, 20% at linebacker, 32% at defensive line, and other at 5%. I'm not surprised at the way this kind of shook out. You know,
those are our two biggest needs right now is wide receiver and defensive line. Linebacker, I'm not worried about right now. JOK proved himself his rookie year. He did okay, but you also got to play. They don't play linebackers like they normally do. It's safety back end. So we got a healthy Grant Delpit, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Greedy. All right. We also have John Johnson, JOK as a linebacker. We still have options there. But our defensive line just got destroyed after this year. I mean, Malik McDowell played great. We thought it was a diamond in the rough. Got arrested. He ain't playing football no more.
Don't do bath salts, kids.
Hey, Malik Jackson. Great for the team. He's probably gone. Clowney, gone.
Yeah.
Tack Kinley, gone. You need depth at defensive line.
All right, so here's what everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know what is going on with Jarvis. You non-Twitters, let us know in the comments. Comment, did you guys see what was going on Twitter today with Jarvis? Yay or nay?
Oh, they did. Trust me, they did. Right. It was everywhere. Put the link out. Come on, Craig. Put the link out.
So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comments right now. Click that StreamYard link. You can come in and join us. All right. So Jarvis came out of hibernation today, right? So we've talked about Jarvis kind of going AWOL. He hasn't talked to the media. He hasn't done anything. Nobody's heard from him. He hasn't touched his social medias. Nothing. Right, Fatty?
Right.
Until today. All right.
So, hey, he rooted for Odell. He touched it.
Yes, you're right. You're right. And that's okay. That's okay. They're best friends. It'll be all right. What do we have in the comments before I post this? Oh, yeah.
And Clowney's got to be priority number one.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's stay with Jarvis. We skipped ahead to Jarvis. Let's stay with Jarvis. Here we go. So I'm going to start with his 3-part tweet, right? He wrote a book. You can only write so many words on Twitter. Here is number 1. Reality behind all this is I came back to play in the best shape of my life. I got hurt week 2 with a high-grade MCL sprain, partial quad tear, and a bone bruise. Then came back way too early and ended up staying hurt the entire season. You never heard me mention anything about it. That's part 1. Paragraph 2. Also, my media availability didn't happen because I was focused on getting on the field as healthy as possible during the week and after games. A strategic plan was set in place to be followed. I put the ball in Cleveland's court by telling them I would like to stay. But if not, then I have put the ball in their court by telling them I would like to stay. But if not, then I'm confident enough in myself to be a better, healthy me this year and moving forward to helping do my part in winning a championship elsewhere. All right, so that kind of read kind of strange because he had carried over tweet 2 into tweet 3, and I copied and pasted it verbatim. All right, verbatim on purpose here. Now, the fan response to this was not good. All right, and
Unreal.
It was terrible.
It was horrible.
Yes, Jarvis took a lot of hate on social media, and it prompted more tweets. I see you down there in the dog pen there, Fanjoy. Give us just a moment. We'll bring you in to get your opinion. But fans were being brutal, all right? And I don't care what they say. These guys see it, they hear it, and they know. And it's been a trend on social media lately. People are starting to really get off the Jarvis train. Now, is it fair to question, should we pay Jarvis $16-17 million for the production he's been posting? DPJ was our leading wide receiver, all things considered, with less than 600 yards receiving. Jarvis wasn't even there. So this didn't just start today, but here we go. Here's the response to the fans. After he posted that, he got a lot of hate, and then he tweeted this. Before this year, I missed 0 games. So push y'all narrative. It's noted. All right. He's talking to us on social media. I hear you. I see you. I know what you guys are saying. All right. They didn't stop. That faction of Browns fans or other people, they didn't stop there. Jarvis says, I gave everything. So here's the question I pose to you or the viewers right now, especially the commenters that are saying, will he restructure? He should restructure. Does Cleveland sound like a place he wants to take a pay cut to stay? Right? I think it's all fair to say it's probably not his choice to stay here at $16 million a year because it just doesn't make sense. That's no hate on Landry. Landry turned the culture of this team around. But is it fair to expect him to want to restructure to stay here with the way the fans are treating him? So let's read between the lines. He doesn't want to restructure. I don't think he just doesn't want to restructure. I think that the fans are talking him out of it. All right. And Chris here says, to me, Jarvis basically says he wants to stay with the Browns if he continues to get paid. If not, bye-bye, restructuring not in the picture for him. That's completely fair. I think it's unrealistic to expect him to restructure, especially a sizable pay cut with the way that he's been treating. Fatty, I want to get your opinion, and then we can bring in Mr. Fanjoy and Mr. Baldwin.
My biggest thing with Jarvis is, I said earlier tonight on my other show, Jarvis, no matter what happens here, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You got traded for the Miami Dolphins because they thought that you were a problem. They need to get you out of there. You come here, you started the turn of this whole team. This 0-3 and 3-35 and all that other bullshit. You were the start of it. You coming in here telling kids, hey, everybody gets hurt. You got to play hurt. You got to play. You have to do it. And he did it. Cleveland fans, he did it. He did it for you every year. Hernia, hamstring, bruised ribs. Has anybody ever had a cracked rib and tried to catch a ball? No. I've had a cracked rib. It sucks. I barely got out of damn bed. And you're bashing this guy. No. For once, this wide receiver, not Dwayne, not Kenny Britt, not the other one that I will not speak of anymore. This guy stayed. This guy played for you. This guy came across the middle and got decapitated half the time. This guy played for you. For you guys to come out and actually tell him that, oh, you're not worth this, you're not worth that. He changed the culture. He changed the culture here in Cleveland. And for that, thank you. Thank you, Jarvis. I know you don't want to restructure. It's $16 million. Would you want to go to sit there at the table and go, let's go for 8? Dude, you owe me 16. Let's be honest. It's a business, right? I can actually say that. I know it's a business. But you got to look at the big picture. And right now, the big picture is one of our best wide receivers, one of our core guys, one of our team leaders might be gone because of this. And I understand it's a business. It's a business, but it hurts because this guy bled brown and orange for you for multiple years, taped it up and kept playing.
So, going back to that Hard Knock speech, the what he did for the culture, the example he set by leadership is probably irreplaceable. But I want to go ahead and bring in Mr. Fanjoy and Mr. Baldwin. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, guys.
Hey,
Good.
I'm off tonight, so that's why I'm up, so I cannot miss this show. And y'all spitting out some hot topics. I can't wait to get into all of them, especially the one you just started talking about.
Okay, outstanding. All right, Norman, I feel like you have a lot to say. Let me get to Mr. Fanjoy here first. What do you think about the situation? And what are your predictions for what's going to happen with Jarvis?
Well, Craig, I'd like to start out by just saying, hey, Fatty, thanks, man. Thanks for standing up and saying it. I participated in the Twitter comments there during when Jarvis was out, and I can't imagine people dumping on him the way they are. The guy was hurt, and he's been giving his all to the team since he's been here. I mean, he called out the posers way back in Hard Knocks, and right from there on and before, I loved him. And I tell you, it's kind of embarrassing actually to see Brown's Twitter doing this. It really is.
Hey, it's contagious, bro. It's
contagious. That's
well,
right.
Brown's Twitter, and if you guys are watching on Facebook or YouTube and you're not Twitterers, there's a lot of conversation on Twitter, and I understand you can find that elsewhere, but it's not quite like Twitter. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of opinions flying around, and you get to know pretty much the entire Browns Twitter community. It's very close knit, but it's also very large. And already moving into this, you have factions. It's almost like politics. You have part of Browns Twitter that is calling people Baker Bros is like a derogatory term for being like a political party. And then those people just so happen, like, you have to pick a side, or you like Team Baker or Team Odell, right? So, it's exactly like it. It's like it's election year on Twitter, and you have to pick Baker or a guy who's no longer on the team. Now, where I feel bad is all this frustration, all this animosity amongst the community themselves. It boiled over, and everybody, not everybody, because there's a good portion of people that are saying the same things as we are, but all that anger found its way in front of Jarvis, and for no good reason. And I think it's bullshit. Norman, what do you think?
To chime in on what you just said, yes, it is bullshit. Okay, but see, it's not just on Jarvis, because he didn't play the whole year healthy himself. Okay, but this goes back to Baker. Now, I don't know why one person can be hurt and be a hero and play, and another person be hurt and try to play, and he's called selfish. That's what they've been throwing on Baker. For Jarvis, it's even worse. They're like going, oh, he must be old, past his prime. He's definitely not worth this money. And speaking of the contract, as I stated,
sounds like Norman's a Baker bro.
Yeah, you know what? If that's what I gotta be, I'll wave that flag. I will die on that hill, because I was watching that night, Monday Night Football, Browns and the Jets, when Baker came into the game, what the crowd reaction was, what the offense looked like when he was running it, like letting him, throw the ball, play action, fakes, handing off the ball. The offense had zip in it. They won the game, came back, by the way, won the game. Cleveland got beer released all over the city. All right. Don't now. Ooh, yeah.
Are you trying to incite violence?
I was there.
Like I said, I'm gonna die on that hill.
All right.
Baker was the right person to come to this team. Jarvis was another piece to go with him, which is why I think he should remain. And the thing about it, yes, he has $16 million, sitting on his deal. However, I believe they have this thing in restructuring called the signing bonus.
Yeah.
Now, if you can split it up and maybe say, let's do a 2-year deal, we'll give you this amount as a signing bonus. You still want it here. We still got a mission to accomplish, which is to win a Super Bowl. And we need you, because you are the best and most experienced wide receiver on the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. So if I'm in the room with him and Barry, this is what I would be saying. And this is what I would be letting him know right to his face. You are wanted. You are loved. Bless him. Stay here. What do we got to do?
Bless him. Gotta bless him. Bless him.
And when it comes to restructuring, there's different ways to do it, and there's certainly a way that he may agree to. You can convert stuff to signing bonus. You could tie in incentives, but taking a pay cut, if it's not a lateral move or something that's reasonably obtainable, I just don't see him doing it. But I'm with you 100%. We should at least try. But
Craig, the other thing you could do at this point in time, be like, hey, listen here, bud. This is what we're going to do. We're going to transition. It's a business. You're just going to have to deal with it. Here, we're going to give you $9 million straight up front. This is what you're getting. We'll pay you on the back end 7.5. This is your last year in Cleveland. Have fun. Enjoy your time here. You can do that also. It's not like you can't, because they have already done it a couple times. for other teams. So it's not like you can't do that. Like you could give Jarvis his swan song here if he wants it.
Yeah, absolutely. But Jarvis, let's be honest, we'd all like to see him stick around. I could not blame him if the fans actually, I can't blame anybody. If the fans were to turn a player away from Sebring, listen, if I'm Baker Mayfield and or Jarvis Landry, and I go out and I win a Super Bowl for Cleveland, when they build my statue outside of First Energy Stadium, his left hand's going to be waving and the right hand's going to have his middle finger up because it's only for half the city. I'm sorry. It's already gotten to that point. It's going to be bittersweet regardless.
Well, actually, if you really think about Baker's history and his mentality, he thrives on just like LeBron. When LeBron, after a while, people learn, do not boo LeBron when he's on the court, because then all of a sudden his focus narrows even further, shots start falling, and every aspect of his game goes up. Baker Mayfield has shown you from Texas Tech to Oklahoma, walk on and then walk on again, doubt me, hate on me, diss me, whatever it is, I'm going to do everything I can to make you eat those words. That's why he did what he did to his former coach when he was running by the sideline after a touchdown throw, and he gave him that little wink. That wink? Like, yeah, but did you see that? Can you see me now? What you got to say? Okay, trust me. He is looking forward, just like he said in his tweet. I can't wait to rehab. I can't wait to come back. And all I want is for him to reach out to Jarvis to say the same thing to him. Wouldn't you just like to show all of them what you did when you came here? That you still got it, that we still got it, and that we can still win it. That's where the satisfaction comes in. Trust me, it's percolating.
So let me ask you guys this, and Fatty, I'll start with you. So we signed him to a 5-year, $75.5 million deal. So his average salary was a little over $15 million. Now, here is why Landry, Joe, sorry, I got distracted here. They are. Half the city's terrible fans. The bandwagoners, they showed up when we started playing well.
Thank
Norman's
you.
awesome, she says. All right, so let's talk cut casualty, because Landry is one of the most likely candidates on this team to be cut because of salary cap reasons. Nobody's saying we're in trouble, but depending on what moves Barry wants to make, here's why he is at risk of being cut. 2018, his dead cap number was 34. That went to 18.5 in 2019, 2020, 17.5. 2021, it was 15.5 in dead cap. In 2022, the final year of his deal, it's only $1.5 million in dead cap. It is almost penalty free. So let's play some devil's advocate. Jarvis Landry decides, you know what? Maybe I don't want to be here, and ask for his release. The Browns obliged because it doesn't cost him anything, frees up the cap space. Will your opinion of Landry change at that point?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
What about you guys?
Heart and soul.
No.
Because in the end, the NFL, as they say, the NFL is a business. So no, I would not hate on him for that, because I love him for what he's given to this team and to this city. So I wouldn't hate on him. No.
All right. Fatty.
Yes.
Or the rest of you guys, anything else you guys want to bring to the table regarding Landry? No?
I already said my piece. I just want to thank him. If he Twitter's horrible. I'll get on to Fatty's on Fire because Joe put it up. That's terrible. Like we actually had a wide receiver come here, want to be here, stayed here, and actually worked his ass off for his paycheck. Not like other people who half-assed it, left here, or sat on the riding bike for years. Just saying.
I'm with Joe. I'm with Joe here. Money well spent on Jarvis. Let's get into the rest of the free agency talk, guys. So Jarvis, we don't know if he's going to be here or not. He is a prime candidate for being a cut casualty, but we all acknowledge the contribution he's made to the franchise and the value he carries. Fatty, who else besides Landry would you consider most likely to be cap casualty ahead of free agency?
Oof, that's a tough one.
Because I have a couple.
I have one that is not popular.
Okay.
Because he's got a 5th-year option and they haven't re-signed him yet. Denzel Ward.
Denzel Ward. Cap casualty?
I worry about Denzel Ward being cut.
No.
No way.
No.
No.
Number 1 CBs.
Just hear me out. They drafted Greg Newsome, who played outstanding this year. Quarterbacks are not what they used to be, and Denzel's not where he should be. Just saying. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I want Denzel here. Why are we taking this the wrong way on Fatty? It's not the wrong way. I want Denzel here. I say sign Denzel for whatever the hell he wants. I'm just saying. Possibly look at it. The other one on the back end, let's see here. Rodney Harrison's a free agent, right?
Rodney Harrison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be back.
You might want to take a look at right tackle also.
All right. Is this injuries? Because he's an all-pro. All-pros don't come around every day, especially in Cleveland.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, how old is Conklin?
He's in his mid to late 20s, maybe 27, 28. I can tell you in just a second. He has, I'll tell you a little bit more about him too.
Let's go.
He has a dead cap of $6 million.
Uh-huh.
9 million. Dead cap of $9 million. It would cost us $9 million to cut him, as opposed to $12 million to pay him. So you would save $3 million bucks.
What about Hooper?
Hooper is who I had in mind. Hooper is who I had in mind. So Conklin is 27 years old. All right. And it's only a $3 million savings. I can see maybe because of injuries, but you know, that's tough to swallow for me.
Rough, isn't it?
But here's the thing with Austin Hooper.
JC Treader? Hold on. JC Treader, free agent?
No.
Next year. We got him for one more.
Why don't you take a look at that one too?
Austin Hooper is a tough one.
I think he's cost too much to cut him, right?
$11.25 million.
Trade him?
He is trade bait. 100% trade bait. But listen. Huh?
Nobody will take him for that amount of money.
Well, he would. So there are ways that you can work the trades where we could pay him a little bit. We could lessen the dead cap. Somebody else could pay him.
Well, at that point in time, do you resign Njoku?
Yes, 100%. Because
you can't do it without doing that. And I want
Njoku, then yes, Hooper should be gone.
Njoku's market value compared to Austin Hooper, when you compare the production, is insane. The value is incredible. So if Hooper's going to cost us $13.25 million if we keep him, and Njoku should be able to be had for about $7 million a year. If you comp him out, it's a no-brainer. And if you look actually at, let me pull it up here because I have it. I have franchise tag numbers. Give me 1 second. All right, tight end, franchise tag number. If you have to franchise tag him, you're going to pay him about $11 million. So, but you can't do that like you mentioned with Hooper here.
No.
Man, I need to dig into the salary cap stuff because I'm like
background, just pay it like it. Norman, is that your dog? Do you
That
have a
was
dog?
mine.
That was your dog?
Okay.
What do you have?
I got a shepherd.
Okay.
Oh, me? I don't have a dog anymore.
Okay. Because I heard it panting in the background. I'm like, holy cow, here they come.
Oh, that's probably me stomping up my tapping my feet on the floor.
Hey, guys, I got to skip out just for a second. Give me a moment.
All right, no problem.
But
All
let
right,
me say,
Norman, give me your thoughts.
okay, one, I'm not sure, but I thought I read somewhere that Hooper's cap hit will be less after June 1st.
That could very well be true. I am going off of Spot Track, and there are intricacies here. All right, so I'll be the first to say I'm not a salary cap expert. I can look at the big picture, but when it comes into the intricacies, it's something that I'm continuing to learn. So that could very well be the case. I don't doubt that at all. So if you wait till after June 1st, I think I read the same thing. It might cost us, what was it, 6 or 7 million or something like that, as opposed to 12.
Something around that number.
Yeah.
Something around that number.
Yeah. So that could be an option also. But that's certainly something to consider. I'm struggling with Conklin though. I'm struggling.
Now, Conklin, I really don't think we should be looking to jettison him, because before, as a GM, if I'm sitting in Barry's shoes, before I'm ready to move on from someone, I need to already have an idea who's going to replace him. That's just my thinking. Now, I love what I saw from Hudson. I think he still needs more seasoning. Therefore, I'm not ready to just say, hey, Conk, see you later. And Treader, I feel the same way, because I know I've heard that they like Harris. However, I'd like to see a little more from him before I'm ready to say he can take over. And this can all happen this season, because then after that, JC becomes a free agent, and then they can make a decision of whether or not they want to re-sign JC or if they're going to move on from it, which means Harris would have to step in, and they will be looking to draft another center, if not this year, next year. In one of my mock drafts that I did, I think it might have been the second to last one or the last one, I drafted a center as one of the players. My best mock draft that I got Garrett Wilson at 13. And then I got the defensive tackle from Georgia in the second, and then turn around and got the other D tackle coming out of UConn, that big 333-pound monster. So now, because I feel like there's a glaring hole as far as personnel at D tackle. So so if you want to help Miles, get that push up the middle and make them quarterbacks run into his loving arms. So I'm like, when I did that draft, I was like, oh yeah, I could feel that. I could see him doing that. And you could draft another wide receiver from the 4th to the 7th on, because there's a lot of quality wide receivers out there. But I really feel like 13 has to be wide receiver. We need a stud. If it's Garrett, Landon Williams, I think, or the dude from Arkansas. Those are like my top 3 that I keep mocking.
Arkansas
for sure. But as far as back to free agency, yeah, Conklin, I think we got to move on from him, just because I don't know why it didn't work. But I saw him drop too many passes, and people were always getting on Njoku about being inconsistent with his hands. And this dude's got this big old contract, so I feel like he couldn't afford to have that kind of letdown. On the other hand, Njoku has taken his time through his career, because remember when they drafted him, he was really young. I think he was like, what, 20, 21, something like that. He was young. So he has learned and grown into his role to where he's the best all-around tight end the last 2 years. Okay. He didn't get a chance to show it in 2019 because he hurt his wrist early in the season. But this guy just needs more targets. I've been saying that for 3 years now. Needs more targets. So need to re-sign him, or if they want to say, let's give him 1 more year and see what he's got, then franchise him. Because a contract with him would be around that much anyway. And this guy has been expressing his desire to stay here for a good bit. Very enthusiastic. So I'm like, jump on that. Let's keep it. We already heard what I had to say about D tackle. Talking about Clowney, he wants to be here. He's been the best version of himself since I think second or third year he was in the NFL down in Houston. And it's more advantageous for him because he plays with one of the best, if not the best, in my opinion, defensive end in the league in Myles Garrett. So I know he would want to stay, and they could probably do that even if they just did $15 million for another year. That's what I'm saying. What you think, Fatty?
I mean, I would love to have Clowney back, but at the right price, because I don't want to overpay him. Like, he did great this year. Don't get me wrong, but he's also a run stopper. He didn't get that many sacks, even though he did great.
No.
He played great. I'm not saying he didn't play great. He actually played his ass off this year, more than I thought he would. I thought it was when they signed him, I'm like, well, here we go. We'll see what happens. But he actually played great this year, and he actually enjoyed it. And if he enjoyed it, yeah, bring him back. I'm not saying not bring him back. But like you said, I think our biggest problem is interior defense. I think our defensive tackles need to get some pressure, either A, up the middle, or stop the run, because that's the one thing that absolutely we can get the pass rush, but we can stop them on 3rd and 5 if they did a draw play. How the hell does that happen?
So, question on the tackles, guys. When we're looking for building the talent this year, where are we going to do it? Are we going to assign a mature one like Callis Campbell? Or are you going to pull in somebody like Larry Ogunjobi? I'd love to have him back. He's my preference, actually. Or are you going to draft studs or do a mixture of everything?
I'd say a mixture. And don't forget, Ndamukong Suh is a free agent.
Yeah, he's not coming here.
You never know. All you got to do is say, play next to Myles Garrett. How do you think that's going to work for you?
Yeah, well,
you said that about Clowney last year.
Hey,
it worked.
How many years he's been in Detroit by himself? Exactly. It's Detroit.
Well, he's a free agent, and if Tampa Bay doesn't bring him back, and since Brady's not there, there's some flux there.
Yeah, I get you.
They could sell it. They could sell it. Now, I also wouldn't mind having Ogunjobi back, and for that matter, if Agba, thank you, I would love to have him come back.
Bring the boys back.
His play has matured. His play has matured to where he would be great on the opposite side of Myles Garrett too. So,
when you look at the top tier of interior defensive linemen available in free agency this year, there's really two or three that are the young bucks, and they're about 26, 27 years old.
Harrison.
You've got Vernon Butler, Larry Ogunjobi, Malik Collins. A lot of these guys that are available are over 30, including guys like Sheldon Richardson. Doubt he would be coming back, but Ndamukong Suh, Brandon Williams.
Did I see DJ Jones on the list?
DJ Jones is on the list, and he's about 27. I kind of had him in that next tier, but he could be somebody that's interesting. I could see Ogunjobi coming back. I don't see Agba coming back unless we let Clowney go, which I think that we have a good shot to re-sign Clowney. And I bet you Agba's value actually, the cost of Agba probably won't be that far off from Clowney. I think Clowney might be a $15 million a year guy. Agba's probably $13 million a year. So you're not that far off.
So I'm going to bring something up to you, Craig, before I hop off here because my dog's eating chocolate.
Okay.
So, the one thing I actually can see is I know we're at 13 right now. I can actually see us trade down to get a defensive tackle in the first round
What?
and pick up a wide receiver
What?
in the second round.
Uh,
I mean, I'm
Wow.
just
no, you're not wrong. I like that better than the half of Twitter that wants us to go cornerback at 13. I'm more with you than them. But
Cornerback.
I'm just
cornerback, yeah.
you're at 13, and the wide receivers in this draft are thick and full. And if somebody wants to jump up at 13 and take a quarterback, just say Steelers. Just take a look.
Just saying. No, there is a good portion of Twitter, Norman, that is advocating. A lot of analytics junkies want us to take a cornerback at 13. The idea is that to compete with Mahomes and Herbert and Allen and a lot of these guys in the AFC is a superior conference with offensive firepower, that we need to focus on defending those guys than more so than attacking them, which I disagree with. I feel like we have a pretty good cornerback room. At best, you're upgrading Greedy Williams and getting depth, but cramming that much talent into one room positionally, I don't think is a very sustainable thing, because eventually you're going to have to start paying guys. Guys aren't going to want to be 4th or 5th on the roster. Joe says, I think it's better to get a number 1 wide receiver tier 1 player. Trade down is not something smart for where we are right now.
I agree with that.
I agree also, Joe. I agree too.
I want to say something real quick.
Yeah.
When you were talking about Greedy Williams, coming back from injury and the way he played this year, I feel he's going to be better and healthier coming into this season. So you got Ward, which I believe he's going to get an extension.
Hope so.
You got brain fart. We got our other guy that's opposite him that we drafted from Newsom from Northwestern, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's fantastic.
And then you got Greedy as well. So now you can interchange any one of these guys to either cover on the outside or the slot, depending on who it is. And I have confidence in our defensive coordinator in being able to do that. And so I don't see the need to go draft that high for a cornerback. Now, I do kind of understand the sentiment, and I have seen some mocks where a D tackle was the first thing that they took. But I do believe, because of the ones I've done like 5 mocks so far, and quality D tackles, the ones that I was looking at are there in the second round. But just like what Cincinnati did, they went out and got a top flight wide receiver target for Burrow. I think and we should keep Baker. If we do, we need to have a number 1 wide receiver, better as a rookie, because then we're paying them on a rookie deal, and the 2 of them can grow together. That's what I'm saying.
All right, so I'm going to throw a hot take out at you guys. I know you love my hot takes, Norman. But listen, you Ohio State fanboys aren't going to like this, but I think in 1 to 2 years, Denzel Ward's going to be the second best cornerback on this team. I think they should front load his deal and leave it open to upgrade on the back end of the deal. So I hope they extend him. But I think Newsom is going to be their premier corner on this team. I think he's underrated. Joe, sounds like you got to get out of here. Do you keep Keenum or Bolden? Bolden.
No.
What am I missing here? Bolden. That's got to be a typo. Keenum, no. He's too expensive.
Hold him. I think he means hold him.
So listen, the third string QB.
No.
Mullins. Nick Mullins.
No. At this point in time, you have Baker as your starter. At this point in time, either A, you're bringing in a 38-year-old free agent to kind of just like meddle around in the background, or you're drafting a guy in the 3rd round that you like and see what happens. That's all you're doing. You're not doing anything else. You're not paying Case Keenum $8 million or $9 million to back up Baker.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is what he's going to cost. Now, I think that we have a fine line that we have to ride here. I think we have to give Baker enough competition that it elevates his game, but not enough that there's a quarterback controversy, right? So, he doesn't need to be looking over his shoulder. I understand he's a guy that likes to be the underdog, but I see a guy like Teddy Bridgewater coming in for less money than, say, Case Keenum, and he would be more than serviceable as a backup. Really, I would like to see Nick Mullins as a 2 or 3 remain with the team.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
You gotta go cheap. Now, you could bring in somebody that really isn't going to be a threat, but could really bring some brains and some experience into the room. Some guys that come to mind that would probably have a positive influence on Baker would be guys like Joe Flacco, Ryan Fitzpatrick, something along those lines. Maybe even Andy Dalton. You need somebody serviceable in the event of an injury that contributes positively to the quarterback room, elevates Baker's game, but does not actually threaten him for the starting job. I know iron sharpens iron, but at quarterback, it's a little more delicate. Requires.
What about Mariota?
See, there's a couple guys that are available.
Or Bridgewater.
So Bridgewater, I think Bridgewater and Mariota are pretty similar. Mariota has a little bit less experience, even though they came into the league at about the same time. My problem with some of these guys isn't so much. I would have to trust Barry to have a positive opinion of it, because there are people that want us to sign Mariota and start him over Baker. I just don't see it. Like, there is a faction of people that are like, screw it. We don't need Baker. Baker is Mitch Trubisky. Baker is Marcus Mariota. Let's just sign one of those guys. And I'm not, that's not where I'm at. So, Joe, I completely get it. I completely get it. The guy who I would like to see, who also probably doesn't really fit our offense, and I think will be a starter in the league next year, is Tyler Huntley.
Yes, and I think he could fit our offense.
maybe, but he is a Lamar Jackson mini-me, kind of.
Better thrower.
I don't know if he's as durable. We didn't get to see that much of him, but there's actually a faction of Baltimore's fan base, believe it or not, that says Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley are almost the same. Why would we pay Lamar when we could just have Huntley? God, I'm glad I'm not part of that conversation. It's hard enough being a Cleveland fan. Good to know it's not just here that people have these ideas. Fatty?
Yes.
You neither love nor hate Baker. So what do you think?
I'm in the opinion of, you said iron doesn't sharpen iron. It
does sharpen iron. Iron does sharpen iron, but there's an added factor of a quarterback looking over his shoulder.
Well, guess what? It's his 5th year. He had pretty much 4 years of gifted the starting job for the Cleveland Browns.
However,
gifted's a strong word.
Yes.
Explain gifted. Explain gifted.
Silver platter, here you go. You don't think he earned it?
Okay.
Not to mention how many offensive coordinators has he had?
Hold on. Tyrod Taylor deserved to go over top of him?
Yeah, he did.
No. He probably did.
He did. He should have. Matter of fact, he should have started, and Tyrod should have been on the bench.
What first overall pick did not get gifted the starting quarterback? You got drafted first overall. You're a quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers didn't.
Aaron Rodgers did get drafted first overall.
Well, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Huge difference. But at this point in time, Baker has never been challenged at quarterback. Not once. Not once since he's been here. They have said, hey, guess what? After Tyrod, you're a starter. Go do it, bud. Have fun.
I don't agree. I don't agree. I think, as a matter of fact,
You think he's challenged him? Get the hell out of here.
Hold on. I think, for example, his first challenge was beating out Tyrod because when it came down to it, they didn't start Baker. They started Tyrod.
They didn't want to start Baker. The coach had to lose his job for Baker to get started, and it was the same thing as Nick Chubb because this guy had 8 carries for 500 yards, and they're like, nah, you're not good enough.
Well, and I agree with you on that because I was mad about that too. But see, the thing is that even in training camp and the preseason, Baker showed that he should have been a starter, and then Hugh Jackson just put the veteran out there. And when he got his chance, he excelled. But the thing that's been hurting Baker is changes in head coaches, changes in the offensive coordinators. And that's been a common theme with him as opposed to quarterbacks like Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, and my man up in Buffalo. Okay,
Allen.
They've all had the same system, same head coach, same offensive coordinator. Context. I'll be telling people all on Facebook of that, which, by the way, if you think Brown's Twitter is bad, you need to go on Brown's Facebook and really get mad. So it's context.
Take it a step further, though. Continuity is something that we've recently established, if you can call 2 years continuity.
It's better than what he had.
It's better than what he had, but we still have not had, if X equals continuity plus health, we still haven't seen X. Does that make sense? We have not had both together.
Oh yeah,
I agree with that.
I agree with you.
Aside from the last half of last year and the first 2 games of this year, when he got hurt, it was done.
It went downhill from there. It did.
Well, he couldn't put it together after that. He was hurt.
I told Craig and I talked about this. At that point in time, you have a backup for a reason. Case Keenum come in for a reason.
That's on the coach. On the coach.
Baker for 4 weeks. This might be a whole different season. If you said for 4 weeks, could be a whole different season. Yes, it might be a torn labrum, but it gives him 4 weeks to heal and see how it feels. I get it, but you could have gave him that time at the beginning. But also, this is also a Baker because Baker is one of those guys that will look at you straight in the face and go, "F you, I'm playing."
Wrong. So, I don't care if he says "F you, I'm playing."
I understand that.
It's the head coach.
Okay, I understand that. But at the time, you're paying head coach how much money, and your first round, number 1 overall pick is going, "I'm playing no matter what." Who's going to win that battle?
Yeah,
the coach.
So well, here's the thing, and we got to remember, Stefanski set the bar so high his first year of coaching. He had a little bit of a sophomore slump. He's making mistakes, but he's still young in his job. If Tomlin had made the same decisions, it wouldn't be quite the same excuse because he's been at it for 15 years or whatever it is. Or, some of these guys, if you've been doing the job for 10 years, there's no excuse. But we got to give him a little bit of play. I'm going to add
hey guys, just before we move on, I just want to throw one last thing out there.
Yeah.
For Baker, longevity in the business, the one thing he has to find is a way not to be out there throwing blocks and everything else. He's got to start protecting his career.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. And that's going to be from the coaching staff talking to him on down to him understanding there are just certain things he can't risk doing.
Right.
So, but as far as him playing, bottom line, that's a head coach decision, not a player's decision. And I feel like they obviously felt like, even though they were talking about Keenum being good to hold the fort and whatnot, they didn't feel like they could afford to lose any momentum and that he wasn't going to get them any wins, which is why they kept putting Baker out there, which was a mistake. They should have just, bit this bullet and we'll just try to come back strong if he can come back strong. But he decided to risk it, roll the dice, and Baker was ready to go out there, and he was like, I need him to win for me. And he put him out there. Mistake. So, hey, he learned.
His
So-
competition level is off the charts, but I agree. I think I agree with you, Norman, on that one.
The last thing I kind of want to say, and this would never happen, but I would love to watch social media if this happened. This would be the most entertaining scenario ever. Because you have the Baker Bros, right? The left half of Twitter, or right half of Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And then the other half of Twitter.
Ride with 6, brother.
The other half of Twitter is anybody but Baker, right? Anybody.
The Baker
Mariota,
trolls.
Mitchell Trubisky. All right, so let's say we go value veteran at quarterback. Wouldn't it be entertaining if we added 2 guys by the name of Brian Hoyer and Colt McCoy and listen to see who everybody would pick to start over Baker? Out of past quarterback competitions, would that not be the most entertaining? People wouldn't know what to do. People wouldn't know what to do. It'd be hilarious.
To me, it's already that frustrating when I have to get into online debates or damn near arguments on Facebook with people telling me Trubisky would be better.
Right.
And I'm like, I said, wait a minute. He had the same coach and the same OC, and he had a talented wide receiver in Robinson who was pretty much there the whole time he was there, and he did worse. So why do you think he's going to come to Cleveland and do better? But hey, I'm not frustrated and in my feelings, and I can't stand to be cheering for a loser team that the whole national media talks about and makes it sound like I'm the one that's dumb for cheering for him. So I'm going to be a hater and get this boy out of here. Yeah.
Holy
All right.
smokes, guys. This is crazy. I mean, you might as well throw it out there and get Tom to have throw a real wrench into things and show up.
All right. Well, hey, listen, we got to
Enough
move
of
on to our
that.
next segment. We're going to go Dogs of the Week, and then we're going to close out the show. We appreciate you guys for joining. It was great talking with
Thanks,
both
guys.
of you. Thank you. Go Browns.
Thank you.
All right, Fatty. We might as well, if we do that, we might as well bring in Derek Anderson for training camp, right?
Oh my Lord! Like really? Hold on. Let me put my hands back on. I couldn't hear it anymore. I was like, "What are you doing? You're just killing me right now with this."
Yeah, like bring back the ghost of Christmas past, all the past quarterback controversies where it was team Hoyer, team Manziel, team Anderson, team Quinn. Bring back Colt McCoy and
Kelly.
Kelly. Yeah. Bring back the guys that are still in the league. They're like 38 years old. They're basically coaches. And see who Brown's Twitter wants to start over Mayfield.
You're like, what are you doing? You're giving me a goddamn headache tonight.
All right. We waited a little bit later to do this segment, but we are going to do it. It is time for the Dog of the Week. Here we go. All right, so this week's Dog of the Week is the same as it was last week when we went live from my corner bar. Great food, by the way. Check them out in Parma Heights. But here we go. It's going to be the same Dog of the Week. We are dedicating the near future to finding this dog a home.
Yes.
All right. And this dog is Lolo. We saw her last week. We're going to see her again. And in the future, until she gets adopted, she's a fashionista love bug. She loves exploring on walks. She's attentive and treat motivated. She likes toys and being doted on, but she's also independent. She enjoys the company of other social dogs, but not a fan of cats. She had to have surgery to correct problems with her kneecaps. All costs are already covered thanks to Friends of City Dogs of Cleveland. She just needs an adopter in a home to rest and recover. She spent a few days with a volunteer and had a sleepover. She's got good house manners. She's likely housebroken, good in the crate, good in the car. If you want to find out if Lolo, age 6, is a good fit for you to have a forever home, City Dogs of Cleveland, at City Dogs CLE, at City Dogs Cleveland on Facebook, 216-664-3476, or you can reach out to Fatty and myself, and we will connect you directly with the City Dogs of Cleveland. So that is our Dog of the Week, and we'll be moving forward until we find Lolo a home. We're making it our mission to find Lolo a home.
She's got to go home. If she doesn't go home, oh, by the way, is it $21? It's $21. $21 to adopt a dog. $21.
All right. So we have one last segment, right? Fatty's on fire this week, right?
Oh, Patty is not on fire this week.
No? All right. We're not doing Fatty's on fire.
You know, because I was going to go after the fans for going after Jarvis. You know,
We already did that.
I know, but like Starkey got me all excited again. And I was, no, it just Jarvis, thank you. You know, whatever happens, but you did your contract good. You stayed here. You had a great time in Cleveland. And I can't thank you enough for changing the culture. I mean, what else can you say about the guy? Like, he is like, he did what he had to do. You know, it wasn't the drama of other wide receivers that we've had here, of why they're on the bench, or why is their dad putting out videos so they go somewhere else, and all this other bullshit. It was never that with Jarvis. Never once that with Jarvis. He just put his head down to the grindstone and worked. And you know something? I appreciate that. I really do.
All right. So there we go. That is this week's episode of the Dog Table, a live Browns roundtable discussion. Anybody can join. We had Norman and B Fanjoy from Twitter on today, which was Twitter and YouTube, which was awesome. We had a great discussion. And join us next week. And every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, we do have some live events coming up. We're planning on doing one for free agency. And we are doing our extra most special live we've done so far.
So
we're gonna do day 2 of the draft.
Yes.
We are gonna recap the first round and hopefully be talking about the second and third round that night.
Yes.
It's a Friday night in April.
Yes.
At the Brick House in Sebring, or you can join us live on here.
The 29th, April 29th.
April 29th. So we have that to look forward to, and we'll start putting out all of our flyers and promoting that so you guys won't forget. Anything else? Am I missing anything, Fatty?
Nope. Go Browns.
All right. We're brought to you by Labatt Blue Light and Remax Edge Realty of the JC Group. We're part of Team Big Play. And until next time, go Browns.